Hi everyone, Aiden here with etrailer. When it comes to getting your vehicle adventure ready and adding versatility to it, I think a platform rack is a really great way to go because it gives you a large surface area to attach a wide range of different accessories and really kit your vehicle out for whatever adventure you find yourself going on. Whether it be camping, overlanding, kayaking, there's probably going to be a combination of accessories that works really well for you. And in my opinion, FrontRunner is a great way to go when it comes to platform racks because their library of accessories is vast and they've got a lot of different types of platform racks to suit your different needs. But it can be pretty difficult to digest what's going to be the best for you if you're just getting into it. So that's what we're here to do today. We're going to talk about the different styles of platform rack that FrontRunner offers and how to choose the right one for you and your vehicle. So let's get started. Now, right out of the gate, I want to say that if you want to find the right one for you and your vehicle, the best option you have is just plugging your vehicle information into our fit guide to find the FrontRunner kits that fit your vehicle. Depending on the vehicle, you might find that you have a variety of different options, and some vehicles have a more limited selection than others. So whether you have the option between their Slim Sport or their Slim Line platform, or maybe you've got a truck and you have the option now for a roof platform or a bed rack, we're here to talk about some of those differences. And in the case that you only have one option available for your vehicle, we're also going to tell you just some things to be aware of when picking up that platform because each one will have their own strengths and weaknesses. I've personally worked with these quite a bit, so I've got a lot of experiences to share in that department. So we'll talk about the vehicle styling first. Now, when looking at the different vehicle types, it really just comes down to whether or not you have a truck, because the bed rack options and the roof rack options for your trucks are going to be really similar in a lot of ways. They use the same Slimline 2 platform, they just mount up differently. And you might find that the bed rack is a better option for you if you're not frequently hauling large things in the bed, you don't tow a camper or anything like that, and you're looking for easier access to some of the things like storage bins or a bike rack. Just because with trucks, especially as you put bigger tires and lifts on them, the roofs become harder and harder to reach and your space will be more limited up there. But even if you do have a truck, I think the roof platforms can still have a lot of use, and depending on the accessories you want to use, you might have to use a roof platform like a light bar because it's really not going to do you much good driving with a bed rack and a light bar in the back. But it's really just down to how you're using it at that point. So if you plan on mounting lights, there's a variety of different light bar mounting brackets that FrontRunner carries, or maybe you just want to put some things up top on your truck that you're not using as often while you're camping, say like recovery board mounts that you only need whenever you're in a pinch. That can live on the roof, be out of the way, but still accessible when needed, especially if you do plan on hauling stuff in the bed, or maybe even using something like a truck bed camper. But if you've got an SUV, you're really just going to be limited to the roof platform options. But you do gain a little bit of decision-making power there with the different platform styles. FrontRunner's got their Slimline 2 platform, which we've got on our 4Runner today. That's going to be their more flagship platform that has a bit more options to it. And then you've got the Slim Sport on the RAV4 to my right here. That's going to be a bit more low profile, not have as many options for accessories, but I still think there's a lot to decide between the two depending on how you're using your platform. Now, I've actually installed both of these roof platforms. The one behind me is my cameraman John's, and the one on the RAV4 here actually belongs to my wife. So I've gotten a lot of use out of the Slim Sport. So some of the immediate differences and similarities really come down to the install, which is pretty much the same either way you go. It just comes down to the overall finished product that you start to find the differences. So most immediate is the looks. The Slim Sport is going to be a much more low profile rack, and the wind fairings that they get are going to be custom fit a lot more to the vehicle to the point where they really match the curve of the roof line there and don't really leave any gap for wind to get through. Personally, I like this look quite a bit, but the Slim Line has a little bit more space underneath that could be used for other accessories. That added height is really only important if you plan on mounting something like a light bar at the front, or in certain cases, there's slots underneath the Slimline 2 that could be used to mount some tables. Frontrunner has a set of folding tables and brackets that are specifically designed for these slots, so it'd be hard to add your own, but if you plan to go that route with Frontrunner's accessories, it's a really slick addition and makes use of some otherwise unutilized space between the roof and the platform. But really, the biggest functional difference between the two platforms are the slats and the presence of a side rail. The Slimline 2 has much wider slats and has a side rail that borders the entire thing. That's going to impact the way you use accessories a lot, because those wider slats aren't always as friendly to clamp on accessories. Pretty much everything Frontrunner makes, though, is channel mounted, so you might find yourself just a little bit more boxed into the Frontrunner ecosystem for accessories. But a lot of their accessories require that side channel to mount up properly, whether it be something like a shovel or a paddle holder that mounts on the edge, or even just in the case of our Pro Series kayak carrier. The arm that extends out and holds our boat actually rests perfectly on top of the side rail and supports what would otherwise be freestanding. So if you're putting a heavier boat on there, in my opinion, it makes it a lot stronger and just adds to the looks because it looks like everything matches up really well. That's not to say, though, that the Slim Sport is bad just because it has less. I've actually come to like this a lot better personally, just based off how my wife and I use this platform. For one, the slats being smaller work a lot better with clamp-on accessories. So here at eTrailer, we've got a ton of different brands for kayak carriers, fishing rod carriers, roof-mounted bike racks or boxes, or maybe even just a tent. We've used a lot of different brands' accessories with this rack, and they've worked just fine every single time. And because there's no side rail, every single one of the channels on those slats is accessible from the side. So whenever I am channel mounting something, it's very easy to just slide it in, tighten it down where I want it, and then when I'm done using it for the weekend, just loosen up the hardware, slide it right out the end, and it's really easy to remove when I'm done. To be a bit more specific, the bars on the Slimline are about 3.5 inches wide and 1 inch thick. It's really just that width you have to watch out for. Certain accessories will work, you just have to measure ahead of time. For example, the bike rack we have mounted up here clamps around the wider bars just fine with plenty of room to spare. And we were able to get a really solid attachment with that wider bar size. So just be aware of that if you're planning on picking up accessories or if you already have some that you're transferring from a previous roof rack. But narrowing down the view even more, when you're looking at the roof-mounted Slimline 2 platform, there are some more options for certain vehicles where you have the option for standard height brackets or low profile brackets. Really, the only thing you need to know with that is if you plan on using that table slide bracket that I mentioned earlier, you need the standard height bracket because that slot is what that accessory will utilize. And those low profile brackets, like the one we have on our truck today, do have gaps, but not wide enough for you to mount anything in. So you lose out on that table slide functionality, but in my opinion, I think it looks a little bit sleeker. And on a taller truck like this, it's going to be reducing your height added by at least a little bit. I think more than anything, though, it comes down to the looks and not necessarily needing that feature of the table slide. Whichever rack you go with, though, they're all going to use the same channel mounting system. And if you want to DIY mount something, you can just pick up a pack of M8 bolts and nuts, and that'll fit the channels perfectly. So I think there's a lot of versatility there if you wanted to go the DIY route. But if you already have some accessories, especially clamp-on accessories, and you don't really want to check, or you're just a little unsure if they would fit the wider bars, I personally, again, would just go with the Slim Sport because I think it's the safer bet, and you get a lot of the same benefits there. Overall, the experience will differ depending on the vehicle you have, so be sure to check our product pages. You can always reach out to our expert Q&A team if you've got additional questions, or check some of the other install videos and reviews to get more in-depth looks at each of the platforms and their accessories. But hopefully this video was helpful in helping you figure out the differences between the different styles of rack and the different vehicle options available here at eTrailer. If you find yourself picking up a Frontrunner rack, leave us a review and show us a picture of your rig and how you're using the thing. But again, my name's Aiden here with eTrailer, and thank you for watching.